Ms. Denise Poir.
Madam Deputy Speaker, there are various schemes and initiatives to provide assistance and support to those in need. For those who require financial assistance, they may apply for ComCare assistance or the COVID-19 Recovery Grant. To support employees and self-employed individuals who have been financially impacted by the current period of heightened alert measures, we have also implemented the CRG Temporary CRGT scheme to provide temporary financial support. For clients who require employment support, we link them up with Workforce Singapore or the Employment and Employability Institute. For clients with housing or other social issues, we similarly link them up with the relevant agencies accordingly to help resolve their issues. In parallel, MSF continues to work with community partners to reach out to and befriend those who may be more vulnerable in the community. For rough sleepers, there is the Partners Engaging and Empowering Rough Sleepers Peers Network. Peers Network partners engage rough sleepers and may refer them to overnight community-based shelters known as safe, sound sleeping places. Rough sleepers who require short-term accommodation and on-site social work intervention to secure stable housing can seek shelter at MSF-funded transitional shelters. Social workers at the transitional shelters work with individuals to address their various underlying social issues and progress towards stable long-term housing. For tissue sellers and cardboard collectors, befriending groups from the Vulnerable in Community VIC network engage them to find out their needs and bring them into the social support system. For example, VIC partners refer individuals needing financial assistance to social service officers, SSOs, and if other forms of assistance are required, the SSOs link them up with the relevant help agencies. MSF regularly shares information on the various available schemes and initiatives, including outreach efforts, through various public communication platforms such as the media, MSF website, MSF Facebook, and MSF Cares, an electronic newsletter which is disseminated to our partners to keep them connected with news and updates from the MSF family. This includes documentary series and videos which showcase various social issues and the support for beneficiaries. One example would be news stories on the efforts by our charity food work group to tackle the issue of food insecurity and the coordination of food support for those in need. Another example would be MSF's collaboration with Nanyang Polytechnic students to produce a video featuring Peers Network partners such as Yio Chu Kang Chapel and Homeless Hearts of Singapore, who provide rough sleepers safe places to stay and help them navigate challenges. We also work with our partners such as other government agencies, social service agencies, grassroots organizations and leaders, and our volunteers to raise public awareness of available assistance schemes. We have plans to expand our engagement efforts. We will continue to feature the work of our existing partners to inform as well as inspire those who are interested to join our outreach and befriending efforts. We would also like to encourage members of the public who come across a rough sleeper, cardboard collector, or tissue paper seller who is in need to contact the ComCare hotline at 1-800-222-000 or refer them to the nearest SSO for assistance. Thank you.
Ms. Denise Poir.
I'd like to thank MOS for her comprehensive answer, and I also pledge that organizations like your ground partners like the CDCs will continue to work to assist the vulnerable in the community. A few supplementary questions for MOS. Number one is, obviously there are many good programs that are supporting, assisting the vulnerable in the community. But looking at the list of channels, there are communications channels that have been listed. Many of them many people who want to help or who need help still would not naturally go to that MSF official channel. And so I wonder if the ministry could invest even more aggressively in communications to those who, to reach those who need help and those who are willing or want to offer to help. Whether in print or social media or TV and channels and so forth. So that's one, to invest more. The second one is also to invest also more in public education. We find that there are many persons in the community, in the public, who, whatever their intentions are, they tend to, some of them have the habit of for example, just taking the photograph or posting a video and then post it on social media, sometimes most of the times without permission. And, but this kind of efforts actually do not render sustainable help for the persons in need. So I think to discourage such habits, which are actually not that effective and sometimes quite not very respectful of those who need help. I wonder if ministry could consider investing even more in public education, aggressive public education in this, so that more can be helped in a more dignified way. My third SQ is really the ComCare helpline. I try to call myself the ComCare helpline. I find that is the response is in English by a machine because I guess of the need to triage the needs. But I wonder if there's another way, more effective way of looking into beyond the the ComCare line to ensure that it's more effective, or perhaps looking at different ways of doing it, call centers that are actually answered by real persons, but not by machine first. So all these for ministry's consideration.
MOS.
I thank the member for her supplementary questions. I agree that where necessary and where possible, that the MSF would invest more in communications to ensure that the vulnerable in our community know where and how they can get help. I had earlier spent some time talking about befriending, and the MSF is very grateful to our various partners, such as Central CDC and other befrienders who have worked with us, because we know that many of these vulnerables, they may not have a fixed abode. They may be moving from point to point, and like what the member mentioned, they may not automatically just walk into a SSO office to seek help. And that is why we rely on our network of partners in the community to outreach to them so that they see a physical face, trust is built, relationships are built, and in so doing, some of these vulnerables may be more open about sharing about their underlying problems, and only then can we really address the root issues that led them to the current situation. The second point that the member raised about public education, indeed, it is a very important point. I know that there are members of the public who feel that they may be helping the vulnerable by taking a photo, putting up a video. But I would urge that members of the public be cautious when doing so. The most appropriate and effective way really is to introduce, to direct these vulnerable persons to a SSO officer so that professional help is given to the vulnerable person. Because when you put up a video or you put up a photo, apart from the fact that you might be infringing on the privacy as well as confidentiality of the vulnerable person, sometimes you may be bringing unwanted attention to the vulnerable person, which may or may not lead to better outcomes for the person. It might also worsen family relationships, which sometimes are the underlying reason why the vulnerable person is doing what he or she is doing. On the third point that the member raised, which is on the ComCare hotline, I'll bring it back to the MSF to discuss with them. At the end of the day, I would like to assure the member that if there are vulnerable persons and individuals who need to communicate their issues in the vernacular language, that we'll make sure that we have a MSF SSO officer who is able to do so and to extend the help that is necessary to him or her. Thank you.